Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you for being here, and also we're all new, so welcome, glad to have you. Today I wanted to talk a little bit through my autumn plans. I've seen so many videos online at the moment on YouTube about people's plans for their autumn knitting, and this is something that I was very interested in. It's so great to see everybody's plans and all the beautiful things that people want to create. I am very much a beginner knitter, so this is the angle that I'm bringing to this this type of video, I guess. So I started knitting about a month ago, and it's been a journey. So I have been crocheting since I was a child, but I never really took up knitting very seriously. I learned how to do it when I was young, but I never really stuck with it. So that's something that I wanted to change, and I wanted to get better at knitting. So when I discovered Kutovakika on YouTube, I just fell in love with all of her patterns. I think her sweaters are amazing, her hats are amazing, I love all of her videos. So I was just immediately taken by her style and everything about her videos and the way she presents that on YouTube. And I think that was the catalyst that really spurred me on to take up knitting. So I went and bought one of her patterns for a hat. I figured I would start with a hat, maybe that would be an easy-ish way to start. And then from there move into bigger projects such as sweaters or cardigans. This is very much the hope. So I'm going to show you and talk through my projects one by one, and there are only two. This isn't going to be a video where I talk through 4 different sweaters and 3 cardigans and all of that. I'm not there yet, and that's totally fine. I have 2 projects at the moment, which I'm going to show you. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to get through both of them. We will see. So I guess I'll dive into the first one. So the first one is a hat, okay? This was my first knitting project ever. And I bought the Rebel Soul Beanie pattern from Kutovakika. I will link everything down below if you're interested in it. It's a beautiful pattern. Very straightforward. As my first project, I was very easily able to follow it and able to find tutorials on YouTube and everything, and I couldn't recommend it more, to be honest, for beginners. It was very, very easy pattern to follow, and I really loved it. So this is the finished hat. I made it in Rico design, merino and mohair, so 1 strand of each held together. It was my first project. I did not do a gauge swatch, which I have now learned my lesson, because this hat is quite small, to say the least. It does fit, I still need to block it, so I think that might help somewhat. I only finished it recently, so I think I still need to block it and see if that helps any bit in opening up the stitches and making it kind of relax a little bit. It does fit, and I will show you, but it's not the most comfortable, so I can put it on and it does fit my head. However, it is quite tight on me, tight around this brim section because there's ribbing that folds over 3 times. That is something that is entirely my own fault, and it's something that I'm rectifying in the next project. Okay. So like I said, it does fit. I think the brim is maybe a little bit shorter than what I would have liked. I knit exactly to her recommendations, so you know, X amount of rows and X amount of stitches. I think so the next time I'm doing it, which is now, I will get onto that in a minute, I've made some modifications which I'm not sure yet if they're going to work out, but I'm, you know, crossing all my fingers and I'm hoping that it does work out. So yeah, this is my first hat. It is lovely and fuzzy. I really like the material and the fabric that it created. I really like the merino and mohair mix, which is, you're going to see a theme in my projects. So that is this hat. I was also really impressed with myself that I was able to use double pointed needles to do the shaping at the top. Now you can see it's probably not great, okay? As I said, this is my first project. It's not going to be perfect, and I'm totally fine with that. And I'm not afraid of showing that to the world either. So that is my first hat, my first knitting project. So taking this, I decided to make it again. I got a different color. I still stuck with the Rico Design merino and mohair, one strand of each idea. And I bought it in a navy color. So it's, I don't know if you can kind of see that. It's this really nice, rich navy color. And I also bought the mohair to match, so you can see the two of these. I just don't want it to fall off my needles. So you can see the two of these, the navy mohair and the merino. And this is what I'm using to create my next hat, which is here on my needles at the moment. Got a little stitch marker there as well. So this, you can see, it really creates a nice texture, the merino and mohair. I'm really enjoying it, and it's lovely and soft. And the few times I've put on the pink hat, it hasn't been at all scratchy or anything, so I'm hoping it stays that way. Now, I haven't worn it for long periods of time because we're not quite in that weather yet here in Ireland, but will be shortly enough, I would say. So I'm still working on the rib brim because it folds up 3 times. So I'm still working on that at the moment. I'm on the last section of it, and I'm hoping to be finished it, you know, the brim part in the next week or so. So yeah, that's on my needles at the moment. I did make some adjustments in that I added stitches to the start of it, and then I also knit longer, so it's going to be a bit wider. And also I tried to follow Kutovakika's instructions for you know, in terms of the length of the project rather than the actual number of rows. So I'm hoping that it'll create a bit of a thicker brim. So that's my second attempt at the Kutovakika Rebel Soul Beanie. The next project I want to talk to you about is my first big-ish project, I guess. I would really like to create sweaters and just basically expand my wardrobe a little bit. I really love knitwear, but I mean, who doesn't on here? I love knitwear. I really want to be able to make my own sweaters and kind of add my own personal style to them a little bit, I guess. So my first project, that is not a hat, is going to be the vest number 1 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. And I'll insert a cutaway somewhere on the screen if I can, maybe here. And to do that, you might have seen my previous video. I made a packing video for going to Edinburgh, Scotland, and I only had a backpack, and I was showing everything that I was taking with me to Edinburgh for 3 days, and hopefully having enough room to buy yarn on that trip, because I had seen some people here on YouTube had gone to Be Inspired Fibres in Edinburgh and found some treasures in there. So they stock a lot of the yarns that I've seen people here on YouTube use that wouldn't necessarily be in my own local yarn store. And, you know, buying yarn online isn't really the same as seeing it in person and feeling it and seeing the colours. And yeah, it's just better to buy it in person, I think. So I made a point of going to this store on my last day in Edinburgh, and I picked up some yarn that I'm going to use for the sweater vest. I picked up this Sunless Garn Double Sunday, and I apologise if my pronunciations are terrible, and this 100% merino wool. And I also picked up this Isager silk mohair. Don't know if you can see that very well. And this is 75% kid mohair and 25% silk. So I got a lot of help from the lady in the store running Be Inspired Fibres, and she was able to really help me out and help me pick yarns that would work with the pattern that I have and yarns that would also go well together. So I think these two colours go pretty well together, which I'm very happy about. I did knit up a test swatch this time because of the hat, and I really want to make sure that this fits me properly, as let me tell you, it was not cheap. So I did knit up a test swatch, and my gauge is way smaller than what is in the pattern. So that is something that I'm having a little bit of trouble with at the moment. I went up half a needle size to see if that would be any better, and it was better. The fabric is still nice, it's not like too loose or anything, so I think I'm going to just move up half a needle size, and I might try to knit a size bigger in the pattern than what I had intended to knit. And I'm hoping that that will even out the gauge issue, but I think I will keep an eye on it as I go and, you know, adjust. So as I said, it's one of my first projects. You know, it's not going to be perfect, so I'm not too worried about it being perfect either. So yeah, that's something I'm really excited to start on. I do have to go and buy like different needles for it now, because I had the needles from the pattern, but I don't have the ones that I'm going to need when I go up a size. So I'm going to have to go back to my local yarn store and pick up some extra circular needles. I had a look online at some of the sets as well of circular needles with like the interchangeable cords and things, because I think that would be really handy. Only that they're quite expensive, so I might have to wait a little bit and see if I can get one of those down the line. And for now I will continue using the ones I have. I think I have to pick up one extra set of circular needles for this project, so that's not too bad. But yeah, it is kind of difficult when you have all of the different lengths and different sizes. It's just completely different to what I'm used to for crochet, or just using the circular needles in general is never something that I would have used before. So that's been quite difficult, first challenge. I am really enjoying it though, so I'm excited to get going with this project, and I'm excited to see what it looks like when it's finished. I hope it looks nice. I hope I can wear it. I hope it's not too small. I'm hoping to go for like the slightly oversized fit, so I can wear it over shirts or over a dress or something in the winter, just to give that bit of added warmth. I work in an office, so which can get quite cold, so I'm hoping that it'll be like nice to wear it to that while still keeping me warm. So yeah, that was the idea behind making it, I guess. And from there, once that is done and hopefully it goes well, I'm hoping to move into sweaters. So that is my plan for my autumn knitting. I will probably do some crochet projects as well. I'm just dealing with a little bit of a wrist injury at the moment, which also kind of made me, you know, dip my toes into knitting as well, because crochet I use my wrist a lot and that made it quite painful. So knitting I didn't have to move my wrist quite as much, and that's been really helpful. So I've still been able to create things and, you know, be part of this crafting community, I guess, without causing myself pain, essentially. But yeah, I will get back to the crochet as well, and I will make some videos on that when I decide what exactly I'm going to make. I have already made some of like the winter headbands and things, so I might show some of them on here at some stage, but not right now. Now we're on our knitting journey, our knitting kick, and I could not be more excited about it. And I can't wait to show you what I come up with down the line. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm hoping to make some more like of the podcast style videos that are just so great. I always have them on in the background when I'm doing my own knitting or crochet or crafting. I think it's so inspiring to see what other people are making and to hear, you know, the problems that they encountered as well as how they fix them is always really useful to me, especially as like a beginner knitter. It's really useful to see how people have solved the problems that they've come into contact with. And yeah, I hope that those videos will be useful to you, and maybe we can keep each other company while we are on this knitting or crochet journey or crafting in any way, shape or form. And yeah, if you have any advice for me on the gauge issue, I would love to hear it. Or if you just want to say hello, please do leave a comment. I would love to meet you down in the comment section. So yeah, thank you for stopping by, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.